All right, diving in. We're all about love songs today. A whole century's worth, 100 tracks to be exact. But we're not just putting on a playlist, are we? You guys know the drill, we got to go deeper. So what does this collection really tell us about how love gets, I don't know, portrayed in music over time, the trends, the surprises, the whole deal?
And it's more than just words on a page, right? I mean,
Yeah.
think about how the music itself shapes the story, the genre, the instruments, even when the song's from, it all adds up.
Okay, so setting the scene here. We've got the all-time greats like Unchained Melody, some more modern stuff too, Ed Sheeran, Shape of You. Oh, and then there's some, well, curveballs to say the least. Nine Inch Nails, We're in This Together Now, love song, who knew? But before we get too deep into any one song, just glancing at the list here, wow, pop music really dominates this thing.
Yeah, makes sense though, doesn't it? I mean, pop's all about connecting with as many people as possible. And love, well, that's pretty universal. But it's not just about like selling records. Pop music, if you think about it, it's often simple, repetitive melodies, those chord progressions too, easy to follow. And that creates this feeling, right? Familiarity, comfort, and that fits perfectly with, love, connection, all that.
You're so right. Those catchy tunes, they get stuck in your head. Just like when you first, have a crush on someone, can't stop thinking about them. But we've got a decent amount of R&B and soul in here too. Genres that are known for like really going deep emotionally. Think I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston.
Absolutely. And with R&B, it's often all about the singer, the way they use their voice, all those melismas, hitting multiple notes on one syllable. It lets them express, I don't know, a whole range of feelings. Like, think about Aretha Franklin belting out respect, that intensity, passion, that's soul music. It's perfect for expressing, well, the depths of love and desire.
Yeah, and then you shift over to rock music, and it's interesting how the love stories change. We've got these big, epic power ballads all about longing, like More Than a Feeling, Boston.
Right, but then you've also got like those rock anthems with an edge. Pat Benatar, Love is a Battlefield. It's like rock music, with its roots in rebellion, challenging the status quo. It uses love songs to look at, I guess, the not-so-perfect side of relationships, the struggles, the heartbreak, even the power dynamics. Who's in control?
So it's not just about whether you like a genre or not. The music itself is actually shaping the kind of love stories we're hearing. Like a ballad, that yearning feeling, maybe R&B is the perfect fit. But if it's a fiery, rebellious kind of love, maybe it leans towards rock. But how has this all changed over time? I mean, does a love song from the 50s hit us differently than one from today?
Oh, for sure. If we go back to, say, the mid-20th century, think Nat King Cole. A lot of those love songs were about, I don't know, traditional romantic ideals. There's this sense of longing, devotion, almost like a fairy tale version of love. And then as you get into like the later decades, things start to change. Society changes, relationships change, and you hear it in the music.
Yeah, it's like love songs got more, I don't know, human. Less
Yeah.
about this perfect romance and more about like the messiness of real relationships.
Exactly, like Amy Winehouse, Tears Dry on Their Own. I mean, it's a love song, but it's brutally honest about like the pain of heartbreak. And even more recent stuff, Louis Capaldi, Someone You Loved. It's all about, vulnerability and just aching for someone you've lost.
It really makes you realize we all go through this stuff.
Yeah.
And music, I guess, it gives us a way to connect with that shared experience.
Speaking of connecting, it's funny how certain songs, they bring back such specific memories, like Elton John, your song. For me, it might be about my first love, but for someone else, it could be tied to something completely different. Yeah, it's wild how each listener brings their own baggage to these songs, their own experiences, their own way of interpreting things. So the same song can mean totally different things to different people. It becomes a reflection of our own personal journeys with love.
Which I think is really at the heart of what we're doing here. We're not just analyzing these 100 love songs objectively. We're exploring what they tell us about us, the listeners,
Yeah.
about how we connect with these, universal themes.
It's like a collective exploration of being human, but through music.
I love okay, so we've talked about genres, how love songs have changed over time.
Yeah.
But I want to get your take on a specific song here. If you had to pick one track from this whole list, one that really shows the power of music to convey those complex, messy emotions of love, which would you choose?
Oh man, that's a tough one. So many good choices. But if I had to pick just one, I'd go with Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen.
Hallelujah. Interesting choice. It's such a haunting, beautiful song. And so many artists have covered it over the years.
Exactly. And that just shows you how universally appealing it is. But what makes it so powerful, I think, it's how it mixes together all these different themes: love, spirituality, doubt, even despair. you know?
It's definitely not your typical love song.
Nope, not at all. It's more like, I don't know, a meditation on love itself, with all its complexities and contradictions, and the way Cohen's lyrics weave together, like biblical imagery. With these really personal, almost confessional verses, it's breathtaking.
And the melody itself is so simple, but so evocative. It's like every note carries the weight of all those emotions.
And that's what makes it so relatable, I think. We've all had those moments, you know? Doubting, questioning, feeling lost, even when we're in love.
You can listen to Hallelujah at different points in your life.
Yeah.
And it hits you differently depending on what you're going through. It's like the song grows with you, evolves alongside you.
And that's the magic of music, right? It's always there for you, offering comfort and understanding, a way to, I don't know, work through your feelings.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Earlier you mentioned how pop music, the way it's structured, it lends itself to expressing love, those catchy melodies, repeating chords. But are there any other, like, musical elements that play a role in creating that emotional impact?
Oh, absolutely. The instruments are huge. Like, take Adele, Make You Feel My Love. That simple piano melody, it creates this feeling of closeness, intimacy, like she's singing right to you, you know?
Yeah, and Adele's voice, the way she, like, put so much emotion into each note, that definitely adds to it. But it's not just ballads, right? What about, like, a more upbeat song, Beyonce, Crazy in Love?
Oh, great example. It's all about the driving beat, the horns, the energy. It captures that feeling of, like, ecstatic, almost overwhelming new love.
You could practically feel the fireworks going off.
Yeah.
So it's really the combination of everything, lyrics, melody, instruments, the singer's voice. That's what makes a love song come alive.
Exactly. Those elements work together. It's like a sonic tapestry, and it resonates with, you know, our emotions. And it's not just about specific instruments or genres.
Right. A love song can be like a huge orchestral piece
Yeah.
or just someone with an acoustic guitar. It doesn't matter. It's about how those musical choices make you feel something, create an atmosphere that connects to the lyrics and the story. But I'm also thinking about, like, those less conventional love songs, the ones that don't immediately scream romance.
Oh, yeah. Those are always fun to break down. They challenge, like, what we think a love song is supposed to be.
Exactly. And this list has a few of those curveballs. We talked about 9 Inch Nails earlier. But there's also, like, Love is a Battlefield, Pat Benatar, Don't Speak, No Doubt.
Oh, those are good ones. They bring in the drama, the heartbreak, that raw honesty that you don't always get from, you know, more traditional love songs.
It's like they're saying, hey, love isn't always pretty, but it's powerful.
And that's what makes them so interesting. They acknowledge that love has this whole spectrum of emotions. Love is a battlefield. It captures that feeling of, like, struggling, clashing with someone. Well, Don't Speak is just like this gut-wrenching portrait of a love falling apart.
And even though they might not sound like your typical love song, they still connect with people on a deep level. It's like they're giving a voice to those, I don't know, unspoken feelings. Those experiences we don't always want to admit to.
And that's the beauty of music, isn't it? It gives you a safe space to explore those complicated emotions, to find comfort, to feel connected, even when you're heartbroken or unsure about things.
Yeah, it's amazing how those, like, unconventional love songs, they can make you rethink what a love song even is. It's not always roses and moonlight, right? Sometimes it's about the grit, the fight, the tears.
And that rawness, I don't know, it can be so powerful. Like, think about 9 Inch Nails. We're in this together now. On the surface, you wouldn't think of it as a love song, would you?
Right, 9 Inch Nails, they're known for their sound. It's industrial. And the themes are often pretty dark. You wouldn't really associate them with, like, romance.
Exactly, but when you listen closely, you realize that under that, I don't know, abrasive exterior, we're in this together now, is about a different kind of love. It's about commitment, you know, unwavering commitment, solidarity, facing hardship together. It's love forged in fire.
It's like saying love's not always pretty, but we're in this together, no matter what.
And that message, it really resonates, especially these days when the world feels so, I don't know, chaotic, uncertain. It speaks to that need we all have, that need for connection, to have someone who's there for you no matter what.
So wrapping up our deep dive here into these 100 love songs, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from all of this?
I think it's that love songs, in all their different forms, they have this incredible power to connect us to something bigger. They give a voice to our joys, our heartbreaks, our longings, and they remind us that, you know, we're not alone in feeling these things.
I love that. And to everyone listening out there, we want to hear from you. What would you add to this list? If you could pick one more love song, what would it be and why? Keep those musical wheels turning, and until next time, happy listening.